So today's call is going to be about metabolism. So what I want you guys to do, okay, I want you to take a second in your notes. I want you to write down what you think your metabolism is. So what is a metabolism? We hear it all the time. What is it? Write in your own words. Write it down. I'm going to give you guys 30, 40 seconds. Let me see the pen scribbling. What is a metabolism? What is your metabolism? And don't say slow. That's not what I mean. All right, I'll give you guys about 20 more seconds. I see you writing. Awesome, guys, awesome. All right, I see Shelby done. Shelby, tell me what you got. I just unmuted you. What is your definition of a metabolism?
I just said how quickly my body can process food with a question mark.
Sorry, say that again?
How quickly my body can process food with a question mark.
I like it. We're getting close. Let's see, Lori. Yeah, what do you think it is?
The same idea, the speed at which you digest food.
Okay, I love it. Let's see, Jane. Jane, I unmuted you. What is your definition?
I have no idea. Like, it burns calories and fat. I don't know.
All right. I like that you tried. Okay, so now you guys have this idea of what you think metabolism is. Now I want you to write down why is it important? Okay, why do you think knowing about your metabolism is important? Why do you think having a healthy metabolism, holy crap, that's a tongue twister, is important? Why do you think it's important? I'll give you 30, 40 seconds. Why do you think it's important? Because when I talk to these ladies, when I qualify all these fit queens to come into this program, right, we asked, and you guys were asked the same questions. We asked where you're at. We asked why you're struggling. We asked what you've tried. And a lot of the ladies will say, well, my metabolism's just slow. My metabolism doesn't work the way it used to. But we don't know what that means, right? So why do you think your metabolism is important? Olga, calling on you, darling. Why do you think it's important?
Hi. Okay. I think it's important because it helps me to speed up how my body is, how it's burning fat, how quickly I can burn fat. But yeah.
Awesome. Good. I like it. We're getting there. Noor, why is it important?
I don't really know. I said it just because we can't have anything else if we have a bad metabolism. Like, we can't even move, we can't do anything.
Yeah, no, you're right.
If I have a bad metabolism. So that's what I wrote down.
Awesome. And then I'll go one more. Ishika, tell me why it's important.
I said that it helps you keep in mind what you should be eating and how much you should be eating.
Cool, I love it. So this is really cool, guys. So I just did a little experiment to dive into your mind to see where you're at and to see how the industry has polluted your mind, right? They use hype words to kind of like, and buzzwords to get your attention. So I kind of want to see how, based off of your exposure and your experience with your own health and fitness journey, being involved in the industry, trying different products, what you've taken away from it. So the question, what is a metabolism? What is your metabolism, guys? It's not as complicated as you think. What it is literally all the chemical reactions in your body that keep you alive. It's all the chemical reactions in your body that keep you alive. Okay, it's the chemical reactions that digest food. Yep, it has something to do with food. It's the chemical reactions that create energy so I can fix my ponytail like this. It's every chemical reaction. And there's two main types of reactions in the body. And maybe you guys have heard of this. There's anabolic reactions and catabolic reactions. Has anybody heard those words? I know they're fancy. Might bring you back to like grade 10 science. Anabolic and catabolic. Does anybody know what those are? Anybody ideas? That's okay. I'm going to explain. So, anabolic reaction is creating something. Catabolic reaction is losing something. Okay? So you're either creating or losing, creating or burning. Okay? That's all your metabolism is. It's every single reaction on a cellular level that's happening to make you sit here alive right now. Every little tiny reaction. Okay? Not just related with food. Okay? So why is it important that we know this? Why am I giving you a science lecture? So having an efficient metabolism, it just means, like, straightforward, it means your body is functioning properly. It is functioning efficiently. Every reaction is occurring at the proper speed, and you're able to live optimally on a cellular level, right? So you can walk up the stairs at a decent pace and not be out of breath. So you can burn food quickly. So you can sleep well. So you can talk well. All these chemical reactions of this metabolism is important, so you can just function at the highest level possible, without fatigue, without being lethargic, okay, without being extremely moody and having mood swings. Does that make sense, guys? It's the baseline for today, okay? So it's just chemical reactions, and it's important to just function at a high level, because who wants to function at 50%? That's exhausting. And right now, you guys are functioning at about 50%. You guys feel me there? You guys can agree? We're not functioning at 100%?
Probably less.
Yeah, probably less. Probably less. I was generous with my 50%. So, having said that, okay, how do we speed up our metabolism and take you guys from 50% to 100%? That is the secret question. That is the ultimate question that every woman I speak to wants to know. How do you speed up your metabolism, right? Because speeding up your metabolism means you burn more fat, simply put. So how do we do that, okay? It's not from a magical diet. There is not one diet that is more fat burning than the other. Is that crazy to anybody? Did I just blow anybody's mind? There is not one diet that is higher fat and calorie burning than the other. There isn't. So it's not a magical diet that will help speed you up, okay? It's not a magical pill. There is no pill that can help you burn extra calories to burn that fat. There isn't, okay? And there is no magical food. There's no, you don't hear the buzzword superfood. This is a superfood. This is a superfood. There's no magical food or diet or supplement or one magical exercise that's going to burn more fat than the other. Is that clear? Is that clear? Does that make sense? Does anybody want to disagree with me? Nobody? Good. So there's no magic out there. So how do we speed up our metabolism? It's very simple, okay? There are kind of 4 things that you can do, and that we've incorporated it into this challenge, into your programming, to push those 4 things, okay? So number 1, eating a diet high in protein, okay? And like I said, there's no magical food that's gonna speed you up. It's not like chicken is better than pork, is better than yogurt, is better than eggs. That's not what it is. It's just a diet high in protein, okay? Because protein is the highest thermogenic food you can eat. Does anybody know what that word means? I'm getting all sciencey on you today. My inner nerd's coming out. So thermogenic just means energy burning. So protein takes the most amount of energy to actually digest. So that means when I have a high protein diet, I'm actually expending more energy digesting it. And expending more energy means burning more calories. Does that make sense with that? Is that clear? So number 1, a diet high in protein. Okay, this is important because it's going to force your body to start burning more energy just to digest the food, okay? Number 2 is important for protein. The other reason we want to have a high protein diet is because you guys want to look tight and toned, right? Nobody wants to look saggy and loose. Maybe I'm wrong. Who wants to look saggy and loose? Yeah, I didn't think so. So you guys want to look tight and you want to look toned. You don't want to have a ton of extra saggy skin. You don't want to look or feel soft. You know, some of you probably feel soft right now. Like you don't feel any muscle under you. You've lost your muscle tone. So having a diet high in protein, especially during your weight loss phase, which you're in right now, is going to make sure that you are burning just body fat and you don't tap into the muscle, because you want your muscle to stay and you want it to actually grow if you want to be tight and toned. If you start burning off your muscle, that's when you ever heard of the phrase skinny fat? You guys heard of the phrase skinny fat? So that's what happens if you don't have a diet high in protein, okay? So number 1 thing to speed up your metabolism is to have a diet high in protein. And usually, if you want to get really specific, guys, it's about 1 gram per kilogram of body weight. So if I weigh 70 kilograms, that's 70 grams of protein a day. That's a general rule. You guys are all hitting that with the plan you're on now. So you're set there. We're helping you out there. We got your back, okay? Now, number 2, how to speed up your metabolism. This is the best one. This is my favorite one. This is the one that is so, especially in women, so underestimated, and that's resistance training. Do you guys understand what I mean when I say resistance training? So it means some type of resistance when you work out. Doesn't necessarily mean weights, like you don't actually have to hold a weight, but you have to have resistance. You have to feel the burn in the muscles, and you have to progressively overload your muscles, meaning progressively adjust so it gets more challenging as it gets more easy for you. Okay, so resistance training, why is this important? Does anybody know why resistance training would be important? How this relates to your metabolism? Debbie, what do you think? Why do you think resistance training is important, especially for women, Debbie? I unmuted you. What do you think? I think you're on mute, Debbie.
I'm mute. Sorry.
There you go. Don't worry. So why do you think it's important?
It helps with the tightening and the toning of the body.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Trudy, are you listening, Trudy?
Yep.
Trudy, all right. Trudy, tell me why you think it's important for resistance training.
My assumption is resistance training, what's it called? Sorry, what was the question again? Sorry, I lost you for a moment.
Why do you think resistance training is important for speeding up your metabolism? Why do you think they relate?
Well, I think it helps to burn down the calories faster when you like kind of opposite repels and then like attract kind of. So when there's so much tension, there's resistance, then you're repelling the fat, I guess.
Yeah, you're on the right track. So Trudy's on the right track there. So this is what it is, guys. The reason resistance training is so important for fat loss, not muscle loss, we want to keep the muscle, right, is because simply put, the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn in a day. So right now, you guys probably burn, so with combined exercise, your digestive energy, the energy it takes you to just stand up and walk somewhere, combined, you guys probably are burning 1,300 to 1,500 calories per day. So that means if you want to maintain your weight, you get to eat 1,300 to 1,500 calories per day. We following me on this? It's basic math. That means if you want to lose weight, you have to eat under 1,300 to 1,500 calories a day. Does that make sense? So the problem becomes when you're trying to lose weight and you don't have a whole lot of muscle, your daily caloric expenditure is low. So then you need to eat even less to lose weight. And that's not fun. Being restricted and eating like a rabbit is not fun. So what resistance training allows you to do, like the workouts we do in the group, is it's going to build your muscle. And the bigger a muscle is, the more energy, and energy equals calories. So the bigger the muscle is, the more calories it burns in a day just to stay alive. So if I got a bigger bicep than you, my bicep is burning calories for me while I'm just sitting here. Does that make sense? That's why it's so important. So your metabolism, those chemical reactions that are anabolic and catabolic, breaking and building, it's going faster because you need more energy just to stay alive. You need more calories just to stay alive because you have to feed your muscle. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. A lot of women are afraid of resistance training, right? They say they don't want to get more bulky or whatever, or they don't want to get huge. That will not happen. We do not have enough testosterone in us as women for that to happen. What will happen though is your metabolism speeds up. And when your metabolism speeds up, you get to eat more food. So now that 1,300, 1,500 calories a day that you're burning, okay, it goes up. So me personally, my daily caloric burn, just living, just going about my day, is about 2,000 to 2,100 because of the amount of muscle I have on me. So that means if I want to go into a weight loss phase, I only need to go lower than 2,000 instead of lower than 1,300. Does that make sense, guys? That's why it gets really, really dangerous when you do have a slow metabolism because you've been dieting for so long and your body goes into starvation mode. and you don't burn very many calories in a day because you've lost your muscle. You guys see how it kind of all comes back to that muscle? Really cool. Does anybody just have a light bulb? Is this really cool for anybody? This is huge stuff. This is stuff that people won't tell you. It's super important for resistance training for women, okay? Having more muscles equals burning more calories in a day, okay? Just to give you an idea of what that number looks like, so I can eat, like I was saying, around 2,100 calories. My goal is to put on more muscle so I can raise that number even higher, which means I get to eat more in a day, because that's what we're all doing this for, right? I get to eat more in a day. And to give you an idea of what 2,500 calories would look like, okay, and if you had enough muscle on you, you could eat this in a day and still lose weight, okay? 2,500 calories is the equivalent of waking up, having a Belgian waffle with strawberries and whipped cream for breakfast, having 2 cups of macaroni and cheese for lunch, having a Big Mac and fries for dinner, and then all for dessert, a tub of Halo Top ice cream, a Mars bar, and a large family-sized bag of potato chips. Can you imagine eating all of that in one day and still losing weight? Who would be excited to be on that diet? The McDonald's diet, right?
I think I'd be sick.
Yeah, it's a lot of food. That's what 2,500 calories looks like, and that's with calorically dense food, right? The foods that I listed are very high in calories. Imagine eating healthy foods like vegetables and fruits and lean proteins that don't have as many calories. Imagine how much food that looks like for 2,500 calories. That's the game we are playing here. We are trying to get you to lose weight, but burn as much fat as possible, but put on as much muscle as possible so that your resting metabolic rate goes up. You burn more calories in a day, so then we can start increasing the normal calories that you eat in a day. So you don't feel so restricted, so you can get away with the family gatherings and the birthdays and the vacations and still live and enjoy in moderation, okay? You have to eliminate before you moderate, right? Right now, we're just trying to teach you healthy habits. We're trying to teach you how to portion properly, when the timing of your meal should be, all that stuff. But the next phase is muscle building, okay? So fat burning to muscle building. And unfortunately, the fat burning phase is actually faster. Muscle building takes longer. Did you guys know that? Did you know that? So building muscle takes longer. Burning fat, you can do a little bit faster. Still takes some time, but putting on the muscle is a long-term game. That's why it's so important to find a program and stick with it, so you can stick to their method, our method, right, within the Facebook groups, and actually build muscle appropriately instead of hopping from program to program and starting at level 1 every time you do a new program. You want to be able to level up in one program. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah? Okay, let me see. I'm going to look at some comments here. Is it a myth men need more calories? Ooh, this is a good one, Ashley. Who's heard that? Or who has a significant other or a husband or a boyfriend that can lose weight like that? All they do is cut out cream in their coffee and they can lose weight. Who think, right? You always hear men can lose weight so easily. So here's the science behind it, okay? It's not that they are genetically gifted. It's just simply, guys, that men have more testosterone. And when you have more testosterone, guess what? Can anybody guess what happens when you have more testosterone? Jane, can you take a guess? What happens when you have more testosterone in your body?
I'm not sure. I don't
Not
know.
sure? Ishika, any guesses?
No, I'm not sure.
No, let's see.
Oh, I think you burn energy faster, maybe, just because.
Getting there. Yael.
You just have more muscle, so then you're burning.
There it is. That's it. It's super simple, guys. The more testosterone you have, the easier you build muscle. And what's the goal? To have as much muscle as you'd like so you can keep the calories high. So guys can get away with eating more calories in a day just because they're burning more because they have more muscle tone. Does that make sense? So every time you're looking at a man and you're like, I hate him, he's losing weight so fast, and I'm over here trying so hard, it's just simply because he has more muscle mass. And if you want to get there, you got to put in the time to build that muscle mass, okay? What else? Anybody have any comments on that so far? So the two things that you're going to be doing to speed up your metabolism so far is a diet higher in protein, okay, and resistance training to start building that muscle and increasing that the amount of calories you burn in a day, okay? Now the other two important things, okay, sleep and stress. Sleep and stress. I saw everybody just smile. They're like, ah, shit, the hard ones. So this is how it works, okay? You guys heard of the stress hormone cortisol before? Anybody heard it? Yeah, maybe thrown that word around. You've heard like a buzzword like cortisol, stress hormone. Basically, guys, it's released whenever there's stress, okay? And it goes away when stress goes away. But guess what? Most of us are not very good at managing our stress. So cortisol is constantly circulating through our blood. And what does that do? Well, one of the side effects of constantly being stressed, and I don't always mean being stressed up here, okay? Sometimes just because you don't feel stressed up here doesn't mean your body's not stressed, okay? So one of the side effects of having prolonged elevated levels of cortisol is you store fat right on your midsection. Who has stubborn belly fat? Let me see the hands. Who has stubborn belly fat? Oh my gosh, everybody's hands are up. Stubborn belly fat, okay? If you have stubborn belly fat, it's usually because to some degree that stress hormone cortisol never gets a break. It's always circulating, okay? And basically your brain takes that as a signal to protect your organs, protect where the vital life is. And that's why you hold the weight around your tummy, around the organs, okay? So super important that we decrease that stress level, okay? Because when we sleep is when we see the most progress, okay? Our sleep and the quality of sleep is where all the magic happens, okay? It's where we heal and recover and actually get the benefits from our workout. During a workout, we tear the muscle. While we sleep, we heal it. If we don't lose sleep, our muscles are always being torn, and then our cortisol levels are always elevated. Okay, so sleep and stress, two big factors. If you're poor, you consider yourself poor in those two, okay, your metabolism is going to have a really hard time speeding up and getting back to that 100% where we're trying to get it. Okay, that cortisol hormone really is a killer. If you've noticed you've struggled with that belly fat for so long, it's pretty much just because that cortisol has been really high and you haven't figured out how to drop it, okay? So really important that you prioritize your sleep, okay? Minimum 6 hours. Some people need less, some people need more. I need 8 hours, otherwise I don't feel good, which is my excuse to sleep 8 hours. And some people don't need 8 hours. Some people can get away and function fine on 6. But if you're waking up tired, if you're waking up foggy, if you wake up and you hit snooze a million times, especially now that we're all home and not on our same routine, if you hit snooze a million times, that means you're not getting a good quality sleep, okay? Colleen says, I get 3 if I'm lucky. Ooh, girl, not good. One of the good things, guys, and it's all, you'll notice this is all back in a cycle, right? Eating healthy, exercising is going to improve your sleep. And when you improve your sleep, it's going to give you more energy to work out. When you can work out harder, you can sleep better. So it is a cycle. It does take time. The fact that you're on this call means you are making the right steps. So don't feel stressed or overwhelmed with all the information or all the steps I've given you, okay? Know that we are already implementing them for you. So if you just follow what we do and what we prescribe, you guys are on track, okay? Doesn't matter what time you sleep, as long as you get 8 hours. I love that question, Mackie. Here we go, guys. If you look at any high performer in the world, any high performer, okay, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, like any high performer, I guarantee you there's one thing they have in common. The same wake-up time and the same bedtime. They are the masters of their routine, okay? I'm not going to tell you what those times should be. That's based on your schedule, okay? But I will tell you they need to be the same every day. If you wake up at 8 on Monday, you wake up on 8 on Tuesday. High performers, people who are successful and get far in life have the same wake-up time and the same bedtime. You wake up at 8, you go to bed at 9, whatever that may be, okay? And they even do it on weekends. They even do it on weekends. I know, that's supposed to be your sleeping day. All high performers, they keep the same routine Monday through Sunday. Good question. Is it normal that eggs make me sleep? So Stacy asked the question, is it normal that eggs make me sleep? So that's a good question. Now there's a couple different answers for that, guys. So as North Americans, we have very poor gut health. Have you guys heard of that before? Very poor gut health. Has anybody heard of that? Yeah. And basically what that means is just we have a lot of bad bacteria in our gut where we should have good bacteria. The good bacteria digest our food fast and absorb all our nutrients fast. Okay, bad bacteria, they make us bloated, they make us gassy, they give us stomach pains, and they can cause fatigue because it boils down to them not even helping you absorb nutrients. So you're becoming nutrient deficient. So some foods, because of our bad gut, we've developed intolerances to some foods or even allergies. That's why gluten intolerance, right? And dairy, why they're on the rise, right? It's not they're bad for you. It's just our diets have made those things very hard for us to digest. The bad bacteria feed on those things and they grow. So eggs potentially they could be a food sensitivity of yours. Well, and while you're on this process, which includes healing your gut, which is what we've also incorporated in this program, while you're on this process of losing weight, of toning up, of healing your gut, okay, you could potentially get rid of that intolerance. That's one thing. It could be an intolerance, which is normal. You can choose whether or not to eat it. My guess, Stacy, would be it's just a lot of food for you, and it's taking a lot out of you. Is anybody else really full on this plan? Is anybody else like, holy shit, this is so much food? Yeah. Okay, that's normal. Again, why are we full? Because our metabolism isn't working. Okay, that's why we force feed you all the food. Okay, and it's probably just, make sure you guys are all on mute. Someone's not on mute. And yeah, so some of you are intolerant to some things. Some of you are just eating a lot of food and your bodies can't process it very fast. So it takes a lot of energy out of you. And that's why you're probably sleepy after a big meal. Anybody else? So Stacy, I would suggest that you're probably just not used to the food just yet. Can I ask a few questions later that don't have, yeah, we'll talk about a few questions in a second, Jane. Anybody have any questions related to metabolism? Is that clear? So super important to be efficient with your metabolism. As women, we tend to wreck their metabolism. Who thinks you've wrecked your metabolism? Does anybody have, like, they know that they have a super slow metabolism, they think they've destroyed it? Yeah, awesome, okay. So basically what happens is because you guys are stuck in this weight loss phase, very rarely ever making it to weight management. We always tend to go back to that weight loss phase. Because you get stuck in this weight loss phase, and in order to lose weight, like I talked about in the beginning, you need to be under your calories, which is a low amount of calories because you do not have a high amount of muscle mass on you right now. When you're doing that low amount of calories, your body is smart. It says, your body doesn't know you want to lose weight. Your body just wants to keep you alive. So your body goes, I'm not getting very many calories. I'm going to slow down so I can have more energy to keep myself alive. So the body slows down because it's smart, and it slows down, your metabolism slows down, and then it takes even longer to lose weight because it's slowed down and because you've been on this starvation mode for so long with different diets and things like that. Is that clear, guys? Does that make sense? So we're trying to repair your metabolism right now. We're trying to repair your hormone imbalances. We're trying to repair your gut. We're trying to undo years of damage that we don't even know we do, okay? Is anybody, yeah, it actually says years of eating disorders. Exactly. Binge eating, purging, like throwing up, anorexia. Like these are all, some people may have diagnosed eating disorders, or some people might just have characteristics of those habits. And it's in my experience that the majority of the clients that I work with have had those types of disordered eating habits. Has anybody else had disordered eating habits or an unhealthy relationship with food? More or less. So extremely restricting your calories or binging to the point where you feel like you're going to throw up or not being able to stop eating. Like these are all extreme behaviors. And guys, I want to let you know they're completely transformable. Okay. You're not alone in having crazy, weird eating habits or no willpower or something like that. What's really cool, and I hope this hits home and I hope you guys can appreciate what I'm about to say here, is the difference between you and somebody who has already reached their goal and who's successful, okay, is that successful person doesn't put themselves in situations where they need a crazy superhuman amount of willpower. I'm going to say that again. The people who are successful are the people not who have mastered willpower, not who have more willpower than you. It's people who just don't put themselves in situations where they need a crazy amount of willpower. Okay? So that means they're not going out every Friday night to a party. That means they're not buying junk food from the grocery store for their kids, saying they're not going to eat it, but having it at home. And the more you look at something and the more you have to say no to something, the more likely you are to cave in. The more likely you have to say no to something, the more likely you are to cave in. Who knows that to be true? Who's gone to a wedding or a party and you're like, I'm just going to eat one dessert, and then by the end of the night, you're like, holy shit, you're 10 desserts deep. You're regretting your decisions. You're hating your life. You look pregnant. You're trying to hide your tummy because you wore too tight of a dress to try and stop you from eating, but it didn't actually stop you. Who's been there? I used to do that all the time. I used to go to parties and wear tight clothing thinking it would stop me from eating. Nope. So the thing is, guys, if you want to be successful, okay, you have to master your metabolism, okay? And how do you continually master your metabolism? You have to be around the right people with the right advice, with the right amount of guidelines and guidance, and you have to not put yourself in ways where you're going to be tempted 24/7, okay? I'm not saying you hide from your triggers. I am not saying that, because that's what all the other programs in the industry do. They make you avoid vacations, avoid cheating, avoid whatever, avoid, date nights. They make you avoid it for a certain amount of time. And then when you get released back into the real world, you binge and you fall off. Who's familiar with that pattern? I was stuck in that for 10 years. I was stuck in that pattern for 10 years. So it's not about avoiding, okay? It's about making smarter decisions, okay? Because you can't avoid forever, but you can't always put yourself in the line of temptation. We're only human. Right? So let me see. Does anybody, if you want to put in the comments, any questions you have about metabolism, anything you're unclear on, okay? If not, okay, then we'll move on to some more questions. So I think it was, who had some questions? I think Jane had some questions. Yeah, Jane, go ahead and type your questions in the comments and I'll get to them. If anybody has any questions about the challenge, if anybody is struggling with something right now is the time to talk about it. That is what this is for, real life troubleshooting. We are not avoiding our triggers. We are not avoiding those. We are facing them head on. We are going to strategically plan so you're more prepared the next time you face them. Does it help if you eat as soon as you wake up? So that's a good question by Shannon. Irrelevant, I'm going to say irrelevant, okay? The how quickly you eat after you wake up is not going to affect the speed of your metabolism. Okay, contrary to what the industry has made you think, right? Because we always hear breakfast is the most important meal of the day. How long has that been drilled in your head? How often did your parents tell you that when you were kids? It's been drilled in our head. It's actually not true, okay? So it doesn't matter the timing. It doesn't matter the first time. It's whenever it's convenient for you. If you're starving when you wake up, go ahead and eat your meal right away. But if you're not, you can push it off, okay? As long as you're getting all the food in one day, it doesn't matter your timing. Okay, my protein portion was lower than I expected at lunch. Should I up my protein shake or dinner portion? Shelby, you can do either or, up to you. Because those 2-second proteins are going to be around the same time anyway. So that's up to you, what you want more of. Not feeling full, think I'm doing something wrong. So Debbie, if you're not feeling full, doesn't necessarily mean you're doing something wrong, okay? What it could mean is you're not choosing the right foods for you. Okay, you need to be choosing foods that are going to make you more full. Okay, so if you're eating a lot of salads, try other vegetables that are going to make you more full, like broccoli and cauliflower. Right, they're fuller. Leafy greens are just mostly water. Okay, if you're eating fruit as your carb, change it to rice. So play around with different foods. That's normal. Thoughts on intermittent fasting? Who's heard of intermittent fasting? Who's tried it? Couple people. Okay, cool. So here are my thoughts on intermittent fasting, okay? Intermittent fasting is not a diet. It has nothing to do with that. All it is just timing. It's the timing of eating. And the only reason it works is because you just limit the amount of time you're giving yourself to eat. Okay, that's all that intermittent fasting is. Okay, so it's not a certain meal plan, it's not a certain food you're eating, it's just limiting the time frame of what you're eating. So intermittent fasting would be good for somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of time to eat. So if you're busy all morning, you can't have your first meal till 12 p.m. and then you get busy at 5 p.m. again with your kids or activities or whatever, then your window of eating would be from 12 to 5 and you would just shove all your food in there. So it really just depends on your schedule. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. The best diet, the best program is the one that you can stick to. And you only stick to it if you keep practicing it and stop hopping linearly. Stop starting from level 1 again and again. You want to level up, okay? Too many questions. Jane, if you have too many questions to type, you can just shoot us an email, Jane at info@fitqueen.info. iPhone, whatever iPhone's name is, it says you need 2 protein shakes every day. Yes. If you want to cut back on the shakes, you just replace that snack with another item from your protein column. Speaking of protein, I did a protein-only diet in the past and lost weight, but automatically gained it back as soon as I hopped off it. But I think we said high protein diet is full. Yes. So, Ishika, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to call you out right now. Why do you think you fell off? And I already know the answer.
It just wasn't sustainable because you can't be eating protein, just only protein for so long. So I did it for like about 2 months. And then right after it just went away.
Exactly. So that's a great example because that program made you avoid everything else you were eventually going to be exposed to, because I don't want to live in a world where I can't eat pizza. So that's just not realistic, right? So I love that example. Awesome job. I had a headache since Monday. Shannon, that is so normal. You guys are depending on your habits and depending on your health levels, you guys are literally in like detox mode. Okay, and depending on your habits, like how many cups of coffee are you having a day? How many diet drinks are you having a day? How much sugar were you having? And not necessarily unhealthy sugar, but healthy sugar too. Like sugar is sugar, okay? So it's totally normal to have headaches. It's totally normal to feel a little bit tired, to have mood swings, to feel sick-ish, like flu-ish, because we're kind of getting all the toxins out of us. We're eating for the most part very minimal processed foods, very healthy whole foods. You're drinking a ton of water, so it's super normal to have headaches. If it lasts longer than a week, then you can have some concern, but it's very normal for the first week. Protein shake with EAAs, Nanrit, no, stick to a shake, but you can also have EAAs on top of that. Brittany asked about cravings. Okay, so cravings. There's 2 things I'm going to give you, okay? I'm going to give you 1, the mental side of it, and 2, some actual hacks, okay? So cravings, you have to think about what you normally crave. So do you crave sweet or savory? Everybody usually craves one or the other. So everybody listening right now, what do you crave, sweet or salty? Think about it. Okay, you all picked one. And then now think of the textures you crave or the types of food you crave. Are they crunchy? Are they smooth? Are they liquids? Like, what is the texture of the foods that you crave? Right? Beautiful. Okay, crunchy salt. Yeah, so think of the textures. And now all you got to do, guys, is take that and find a healthy alternative from the list and get crazy and creative and match that flavor and match that texture. So instead of a piece of cake, you can have a piece of fruit, like some strawberries, some berries. Instead of chips, you can make homemade kale chips or homemade Brussels sprout chips for that crunch. Okay, there's lots of alternatives, okay? Another thing is you can save your protein shakes for when you know you're gonna start craving, okay? So if you know you're a late night snacker and a late night craver, just save your second shake for when you're Netflix and chilling and you'd usually eat an entire bag of chips, okay? What's really cool with the protein shake, if you put it in a blender with some ice, it turns into like an ice cream consistency, so you can eat it with a spoon and pretend it's a dessert. So lots of different things. Pickles help too. Yeah, Olga, exactly. Do you crave the salty pickles? Lots of salt there. Lots of cool things there. Jane says, I've been having very low moods and low energy and feeling like shit, dizzy, energy, nauseous. It could be low blood sugar, Jane. Jane, do you have a health history of low blood sugar? If not, I'm not worried. Again, it's just you acclimatizing to this new plan.
Can I just say one quick thing?
Yeah.
It's because I used to have a really, really bad diet where I was on this medication that made me crave a lot of sugars.
Okay.
So I would eat nothing all day, and at night I would eat nothing but sugar for a long time. And now I'm not getting that. So I don't know if I'm getting like sweaty and nauseous. And
yeah, are you on any medication or supplements?
No, not right now.
No pills, no supplements?
No.
How much caffeine do you have in a day?
Just one coffee.
How much do you sleep?
At least 8 hours.
Is it good quality?
No.
No? Why not?
I don't know. Well, lately, because I've never drank like water ever. I always used to drink juice. So I had a really poor diet for a long time, and now I'm waking up like 4 times at night to like pee and stuff, and I can't get the 4 liters down.
Yeah, that's normal. It gets better. So it just sounds like you're detoxing. It sounds like you're a drug addict from sugar and you're detoxing. That's what it sounds like.
Thank you.
So we'll keep an eye on that. Pay attention. Note how you're feeling. But about a week, it'll be better. Okay. Can we make a really hot drink from protein shake as I crave for sweet hot drink? So iPhone, tell me your name. iPhone, what's your name? So you can make a hot drink. Okay, some women actually, I don't know if you'll like this, it's worth a shot, put in their hot coffee. So there's 2 ways of having coffee. So you can do protein shake, ice, protein scoop, ice, and coffee in a blender, make like a homemade protein ice cap. Or you can do hot coffee with a scoop of protein and stir it up. So that's if you want hot drinks, okay? You can have any teas you'd like as well. You can make a tea and then ice the tea and put stevia and Splenda in it like it's a sweet iced tea. You can do that as well. They say sugar is worse than heroin to detox from, Shannon. Yep, that says it all there. Sugar is insane. We are so detoxed. They're so addicted to it. A fistful of vegetables. Can we actually have more? So guys, if you're ever hungry, you can always have more vegetables of the unlimited one. So the ones that are not on your list, right? The exceptions, anything that's not that, you can have an unlimited amount whenever you want, okay? What was the iced tea thing? So Brittany, you can just brew your favorite tea, however many bags you want, however strong you like it. You let it sit, you let it cool in the fridge with some ice, and then you can put some stevia or Splenda in it to whatever sweetness level you'd like. And it's like a little treat. Very delicious that way. Any other questions regarding that, guys? If you have any big questions, you can just shoot us an email, and we'll always get back to you too. I got lots of people doing that. Let me see if I missed any questions. No, it looks pretty good. Yeah, guys, so that was your I'm going to wrap up the coaching call. That's your little tidbit for today on learning your metabolism, okay? Because at the beginning of this call, you guys couldn't even describe metabolism. Isn't that funny? That's kind of funny. Now you have a better understanding, and now you know why it's important. And now you know the reasoning behind everything that we do and that we create for you. It's to boost your metabolism long term. So you can enjoy the foods that you like, you can enjoy life, and not be worried about falling backwards really quickly all the time, okay? Shannon has a good question. How long before our gut health is better? Shannon, that can take a long time. It can take a very long time. We've done a lot of damage to our gut. Does anybody suffer from chronic bloating or chronic fatigue or chronic gas or isn't good, doesn't have regular bowel movements? Does anybody have any of those things? Yeah. So usually that's a sign that you have bad gut health. And if you guys want extra tips, okay? Apple cider vinegar. We all know apple cider vinegar. So apple cider vinegar, you can take a shot in warm water in the morning. Or you can, I think they actually have apple cider vinegar gummies now, which is cool. So anything fermented is going to help grow that healthy bacteria back. Okay. So fermented things like kimchi, sauerkraut, vinegars, what else? Kefir. There's lots of fermented stuff. Kombucha. If you guys heard all these crazy new words lately. And pre and probiotics. So you guys heard of pre and probiotics before? Super worth the investment. Prebiotics is the food that the good bacteria eats, and probiotics are the actual good bacteria that they're putting in your gut. So pre and probiotics would be a good supplement to look into as well. But yeah, it just takes a long time and it just takes practice. It's not going to be perfect because again, we like the foods we like, right? We're not going to have a piece of cake the rest of our life. We want the piece of cake, right? That's not good for our gut health, but you'll get to a point where that won't affect you anymore because you've healed it, okay? Specific foods for 21 days. So Olga, after the 21 days, so right now you guys are on phase 1. You guys are on phase 1 of your meal plan. Phase 1 for 28 days, okay? Phase 2, it changes. A lot more food is added. I'll leave it at that. I want you guys to just stay focused for 21 days. Sometimes if you keep looking at what you're gonna get, it's harder to stick to with what you have, okay? Because we're like, oh, but I just wanna get there. Trust the process, trust what we've laid out for you. The first 21 days are all about eliminating before you moderate. We gotta detox the body, we gotta build the healthy habits, we gotta get back into the healthy routines of meal prepping, of grocery shopping, of choosing the right foods, of portioning properly, of pre-planning your days so you can fit in the foods. So it's a lot of good healthy habits you're learning here. And if you're struggling, and if it's taking more time than you'd like, that means you're on the right track. Because we're not perfect, we're not gonna be good, we're not gonna be fast at anything the first time. When I first started to meal prep, it took me 2 hours every Sunday for 6 months to meal prep. Now I can meal prep in 20 minutes. Boom. We just got to practice.